Vanessa and Kial. Dangerous flirting or true love? Deep dive analysis and theories. Welcome back to the channel, gatekeepers. If you haven't grabbed your tier, perhaps something stronger, like a Vanessa-style martini, go get it right now. Because today we are going to dissect a moment that I think just fundamentally shifted the tectonic plates of Beyond the Gates. We need to talk about Vanessa. We need to talk about Kial. And most importantly, we need to talk about that absolute masterclass in seduction we just witnessed. Look, we all knew that bringing a heavyweight like Greg Vaughan onto this show meant trouble. You don't cast a jawline like that just to have him check the mail and walk the door. But I don't think any of us were prepared for the sheer voltage of the chemistry when he crossed paths with Vanessa. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's just friendly banter. Friendly banter. Are you kidding me? If that was friendly banter, then I'm the Queen of England." What we saw was a tactical strike. It was a hunt. And today, I'm going to break down every glance, every micro-expression, and tell you why I believe this flirtation is actually the beginning of the darkest, most twisted storyline we've seen yet on CBS daytime. Let's open the gates. Let's rewind the tape and look at the how. The setting is crucial. Notice how Vanessa didn't approach Kial when he was in the middle of a crowd. No, she waited until he was isolated near the perimeter of the event. This is classic predator psychology 101. And I say that with total love for her character. She isolated the target. The body language. Did you catch the way she adjusted her posture the second she saw him? It wasn't just fixing her dress. It was a complete shift in energy. She went from bored socialite to laser-focused siren in 0.5 seconds. When she walked over, she didn't stand in front of him. She stood slightly to his side, invading his personal space just enough to be noticeable, but not enough to be aggressive. That is the move of a woman who knows exactly how to make a man uncomfortable in the best possible way. The Vaughan reaction. And let's give it up for Greg Vaughan here. Kial's reaction was fascinating. He didn't immediately melt. He held that stoic, "I'm too good for this drama" face that Vaughan has perfected over decades on Days and General Hospital. Newton here is the key. Watch his eyes. He tracks her. He doesn't look away. When Vanessa drops that line about the quiet ones always having the loudest secrets, Kial flinches. Just a millimeter. That tells me she hit a nerve. She wasn't just flirting. She was probing for weaknesses. Here is where I need to get controversial. A lot of you in the comments are saying Vanessa is just lonely, or she's just looking for a rebound. I completely disagree. I think that perspective underestimates Vanessa as a character. Vanessa doesn't do lonely, Vanessa does strategy. Let's look at her recent timeline. She has been feeling marginalized by the hierarchy within the Gates community. She feels her power slipping, flirting with Kial, a man who clearly holds a lot of mysterious social capital and likely financial power. Isn't about romance. It's about acquisition. I believe Vanessa sees Kial as a weapon. She is testing him. Is he malleable? Can he be seduced? If she can get Kial on her side, she suddenly has an ally, or a pawn who is physically intimidating and socially new enough to not be tainted by the old rivalries of the neighborhood. This is a recruitment drive disguised as a seduction. She is vetting him for a role in her life. And I don't think that role is boyfriend. I think the role is accomplice. However, there is a danger here. Vanessa is arrogant. She thinks she's the smartest person in the room. But looking at Kial, I think she might have finally met her match. She's playing with fire, and she thinks she's the arsonist. But Kial might actually be the explosive. Let's talk about the Greg Vaughan factor. You don't cast a soap icon like him to be a pushover. During this entire interaction, while Vanessa was doing all the talking, Kial was doing all the listening. He was gathering data. There was a moment about halfway through the scene where he tilts his head and gives a half smirk. My theory on Kial. I don't buy the innocent newcomer act for a second. I have a theory that Kial knows exactly who Vanessa is. In fact, I'm willing to bet that Kial came to the gate specifically because of Vanessa. or at least because of the circle she runs in. Is it possible that Kial is investigating her? Think about it. He wasn't surprised by her boldness. He seemed almost prepared for it. It was like he had read a dossier on her. Expect Vanessa to be aggressive. Expect her to use her charm. He parried her verbal attacks too easily. If my theory is correct, and Kial is actually an undercover operative, a private investigator, or someone with a vendetta against Vanessa's family, then this flirtation becomes 10 times more interesting. It becomes a game of cat and mouse where both of them think they are the cat. Okay. Putting the schemes and the psychological warfare aside for a second, can we just appreciate the visual? We talk a lot about chem tests, chemistry tests in this genre. Sometimes you put two beautiful actors together and nothing. It's like watching paint dry. But Vanessa and Kial, electric. There is a roughness to Kial that contrasts perfectly with the polished, high-maintenance vibe of Vanessa. It's the classic lady and the tramp or princess and the bodyguard trope, but elevated. I noticed that when Vanessa reached out and brushed the lint off his jacket, a classic power move, by the way, meant to assert dominance, Kial didn't pull away. He leaned in. That physical comfort usually takes months to build on a soap opera. The fact that they have it in their first major interaction tells me the writers are fast-tracking this. Prediction: they are going to sleep together soon, and it's going to be messy. It's not going to be a romantic candlelit dinner. It's going to be an angry, impulsive, we shouldn't be doing this moment in the back of a car or a wine cellar. And it is going to blow up both of their lives. But here's my worrying. Usually, when a couple burns this hot, this fast, they crash and burn just as quickly. Are the writers giving us a fling to spike the ratings? Or are they building a new super couple? Personally, I want the super couple. I want them to be the king and queen of hell ruling over the gates. I want them to team up and take down everyone else. Imagine Vanessa's brains combined with Kial's brawn. They would be unstoppable. Alright, put on your tinfoil hats, because I've been connecting the dots on my corkboard, and I have 3 major theories about where this is going. Theory 1. The Black Widow trap. Vanessa isn't trying to date him. She's trying to frame him. We know there is a financial scandal brewing in the background of the main storyline. What if Vanessa needs a fall guy? Who better than the mysterious, handsome stranger who just arrived? She seduces him, gets his fingerprints on everything, and when the FBI comes knocking, she's crying crocodile tears while Kial gets hauled away. Theory 2. The past connection. What if they already know each other? I got a vibe, just a tiny bet, that Kial's smirk was one of recognition. Maybe they had a fling 10 years ago in Paris or New York. Maybe he's an ex-lover who has changed his name. This would explain why he isn't intimidated by her. He's seen her without the makeup and the armor before. If this is true, Kial holds the cards because he knows her secrets. Theory 3. The Greg Vaughan meta twist. This is a bit meta, but stay with me. In almost every role Greg Vaughan plays, there is a redemption arc. He starts as the bad boy or the outsider and becomes the moral compass. Think Eric Brady. I think the show is baiting us. They want us to think Kial is dangerous so that Vanessa seems like the victim. But actually, Kial is going to be the one who saves Vanessa from herself. He might be the only person who sees the broken little girl inside the mean girl. He's going to challenge her to be better, and that terrifies her more than anything. I can't help but compare this dynamic to some legendary pairings. It gives me Major Brenda and Sunny General Hospital vibes from the 90s. The volatile, passionate woman and the dark, brooding man who tries to keep her out of trouble, but ultimately drags her deeper into it. It also reminds me a bit of Sammy and Lucas from Days. The banter, the snark, the fact that they seem to hate each other and want to rip each other's clothes off simultaneously. If Beyond the Gates can capture even 10% of that magic with Vanessa and Kial, we are in for a golden era of television. So, to summarize, Vanessa is hunting, not dating. Kial knows more than he's saying. The chemistry is undeniable and dangerous. I think we are witnessing the birth of the show's primary conflict. This isn't a side plot. This is the main event. Here is my question to you, gatekeepers. Do you trust Kial? Look at his eyes in that final shot. Is that the look of a man falling in love? Or a man setting a trap? And for the die-hard Vanessa fans, do you think she's finally met her match? Or is she going to chew him up and spit him out like she does with everyone else? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I'll be pinning the craziest and most plausible theory. Also, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm let other soap fans know we exist, and subscribe so you don't miss my breakdown of next week's inevitable explosion. Until next time, keep your gates locked and your secrets buried.